it's still new. It's like there's just a question is what should one do? Now I'm gonna say if I had to make an executive suggestion, I feel like everybody on Juneteenth, if you're at somebody's house, should be required to play Uno. But if we're gonna split it up, it's gonna sound messed up. I'm not trying to be racist, but like every black person should get at least 6 draw 4 cards. And that's it. And then anytime somebody says something crazy, we're like, ha! Here you go. Hold that.
Hello, welcome to Juxtaposed. My name is MVP, and we have
K-Styles.
And we are your host for the day. So, you know what? Before we start getting into the conversations that we want to get into, because, you know, we like to have the tough ones, I just want to check in with K-Styles, you know what I mean? I haven't really talked to him in a little bit because I've been on vacation. So, K-Styles. Vacation. I don't want to go into details because it's personal information. Just know your boy out here. So, what's going on with you, man?
Not much, man. Happy to be back with a lot of stuff going on in the background to get us to this point. Like a lot. Super excited about everything that's happening over here at We Now. So the next couple months is gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. A lot of work, but fun. So yeah, I'm good. How's the vacate?
The vacate, man, is really dope. Not having to pay attention to things at work. Like, I don't know if I want to go into details about my profession, but I have to be attentive. You know, I have to be supportive. So not having to do that, and it's kind of hard. I don't know if people hear the saying like, yeah, when you take a vacation to actually turn off everything, like actually disconnect. And usually I don't, but like, you know, this time around, I was like, yeah, I'm going to disconnect for real. And I've actually done that. I still be peeking, you know what I'm saying? Like a little bit like a stalker-ish, like, yo, what they doing over there? But all in all, man, I've been enjoying myself, building up my hobbies that I've been neglecting for a while, you know what I'm saying? Working on my health, things of that nature.
Hey man, you know what? One thing I've learned over the last couple of years, which I'm at some point in this podcast, I guess we'll get into my different learnings, is that you have to take time and relax and recharge. You can't just go and burn the candle at both ends, or however that statement goes. First of all, it seems very impossible to burn a candle at both ends. I don't know why that you know, we ever hear some of these statements that people come up with, and you're like, I get what they were going for, but like, this is way off the beaten path. But yes, you shouldn't burn the candle on both ends, and you know, you have to prioritize health. I know that's become a thing that people say a lot now, especially mental health, but it's real. You gotta prioritize it. So
yeah, you got to. One of the things, like, just to jump back to what you said, one of mine that I love is if it was a snake, it would have bit you.
Yep.
I feel like I got that from my folks, man. It's an old head saying or whatever. But basically, it's like, yo, if you're looking for something and you can't find it, and then you see it's like right in front of you, like if it was a snake it would have bit you. I'm like, I don't know who came up with that, you know?
Yeah.
But so with Juneteenth being a thing this month, you know, we wanted to kind of like start talking about it, get the I don't know, the brain flowing on like how people feel about it,
the lay of the land.
The lay of the land, right? Because for me, Juneteenth wasn't always a thing in my mind. You know what I'm saying? I recently discovered that. I was like, oh, there's this whole thing that happened that they never taught in schools or anything like that. So I guess where we could start is, what is it, right? Like, for the people out there who don't know what Juneteenth is. You want to elaborate it on that,
Well,
K-Styles?
I'm not gonna say I'm well versed. I am also in the band. I wouldn't say bandwagon, but in the group of people who didn't really know what this was. I did see like a resurgence of this during the pandemic time when like everything happened in 2020 with like George Floyd and people started seeing stuff that was happening. And that's around the time, like right after that, not too far after that is when it became a federal holiday. But the understanding of it, from what people have told me and what I've read, is that this was the day that the slaves were actually freed. And that's why, people are saying, well, you know, Independence Day or July 4th is not really the same for everybody, right? Because there's a group of people who, the black or people who were slaves, I guess, they were whatever. These people essentially did not get freedom, and so the Independence Day doesn't really relate to that. And then it looks like on 2021, President Biden is the one who made it a federal holiday. So that's, I think, when it became more of a regular conversation piece for a lot of people. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mixed bag of feelings for it, because from what I understood, it's like there was a whole time period where the slaves were actually supposed to be free. The emancipation of the slaves happened. And then,
so just to jump
there was
in,
a whole group of people that weren't told.
So to jump in with some facts, it was 2 years that passed.
Was it just 2 years? I didn't know how long it was.
So 2 years had passed before the people in Texas, which were the last people to know, didn't know that they were free. So,
but then to that point, I didn't know the exact time, which is why I gave that vague a time period. But I guess the thing for me is where I get a little confused on this is, are we in a place to say that like this is something to be celebrated? And the reason why I say that is because, yes, it marks the end of that chapter of slavery or whatnot, but it also, in my mind, marked a huge blunder on American history, because if you say that the slaves were freed 2 years before that and you just conveniently forgot to tell people, then that's kind of messed up. Like, that's my thought. What do you think?
My thing about that is, and because I wasn't, born back then. This is like what 1865. Yeah. So because I'm a tech kind of guy, right? So I'm not trying to give anybody any bail, but I'm like, is there a certain reason because of technology that it took 2 years for this other state to find out that this happened? Like, but my thing is, I thought they had back then like messengers, and that was like their job to deliver messages, right? Well, did it take 2 years did they set off 2 years and then it took them 2 years to get to the destination? Or was there a lack of like organization and like, oh, we forgot about them?
Or was it a deliberate attempt to continue getting free labor for 2 years? That is the hard question. And I don't know, if we can necessarily answer that specifically. Right. But those are the questions that come up in my mind, because yes, this is something to celebrate because it does mark the end of, horrible like 400 years of an experience. But it also identifies a lingering issue that was not necessarily dealt with for 2 years. That's like, it's telling you, hey, we're gonna go out to dinner, but you can't eat for the next 2 years. It's like, it's just it's a stupid analogy, but like it is kind of not a good look to me.
I was thinking it's their equivalent of like, yo, I didn't get your call. And it's like, hold up. I sent the messenger over there like 2 years ago. Oh, I never got it. I didn't see them. Like, I don't know what, they probably went to the wrong state, but I didn't get it. Because if you're going to try to like keep the labor thing going and act like, the best way I can think that they were like, yo, I didn't know. Oh my God. Like, damn, hey, yo, y'all stop working right now. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a lot to do with what you're saying. Like, they were trying to keep it going for as long as possible until somebody was like, yo, they're still going hard down there. And they're like, oh, really? Like, now we all got to go out there, right? Yeah. Because now you can't sit, like, especially when someone of higher power goes out there and it's like, yeah, confirm you received this message, because you won't be able to use this excuse again.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard one because at the core, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there is a whole. The, I mean, America's kind of built on that free labor, so there would be a bunch of people who object, and honestly, not to get I mean, we're this is a place for hard conversations, but there are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people who still feel like it should have never ended. So
Mm. That's crazy.
it was it really an just like a major blunder on the part of the people in Texas, or was it intentional? And so to me, that always kind of it kind of muddies the water for this celebration. But once again, don't want to just take away from the fact that this is a separate day that marks that freedom that wasn't equal for people. Like July 4th was not a thing for a lot of people. So I get that. So like the question for us was like, what does it mean to me? And I'm like, I don't know. That's it's complicated answer for me because I get it. It's like the day that the slaves were free, but like, does that have significant meaning to us as Black people, or at not even or at other people? Like, I mean, we're gonna get into like the lay of the land, as I call it, where we ask people these questions and see what they say. Um, so I'm intrigued to see what people's opinions on it are. But like I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily have a very strong connection to Juneteenth personally.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with one, did you grow up with it being a thing, right?
Yeah.
Because growing up, all these other holidays were super, important, like Independence Day, Thanksgiving, and then as we get older, we realize the significance of what happened in Thanksgiving, and it's like, whoa, do I want to be a part of this?
Yeah.
But then you have, Juneteenth actually, in my mind, is African Americans 4th of July, right? Like it's actually when we're free and have the independence and things of that nature. But what it means to me is, and it's kind of convoluted because one, I do understand, yes, the freedom, but it is also a blur because I'm like, are we truly free even with this being a thing? You know what I
That's a good
mean?
question.
Um, with all the laws and all the hardships that African Americans still go through over the centuries, like over the decades, like I don't think it's kind of sounds disrespectful to say it don't really mean nothing to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it, but you can't just throw something in my face and be like, here, there you go, now go be happy. And it's like, that's a step. But in my opinion, I don't even think it being a holiday is the first step that I need to see. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even, I'm not like a historian. I don't go deep into stuff, but just from looking at things, I'm like, I feel like there's other things, the government could do that would make me happier about our situation in America,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, Juneteenth, like, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's like, it's probably one of those things where it's like, yo, I'm hungry, right? Let me get this meal. Let's make it a fancy meal, some steak. You know what I'm saying? Potatoes, medium rare, apparently, because well done is for crazy people, I heard. But like some medium rare, you know what I'm saying? Some juicy steaks, potatoes, and some greens, right? And I'm hungry. And I say, hey, can you go get that for me? You're like, yeah, sure, I got you. And you come back with like McDonald's. And it's like, I'm still gonna eat it because I'm hungry. But I was looking a little bit for some steak, bro. And I'm like, with the holidays, like, yes, that's cool. We got the holiday, and more people are like, because of it, more people are being what do you call it? More like they have more knowledge of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even now we're talking about it, right? Because
Correct.
I don't normally just have these conversations with my friends until it became a holiday, and I was like, oh, okay, it's a thing. Like I didn't know. But with that being said, I'm like, okay, what's next?
And you know what's funny about that? I guarantee there's a group of people who are like, well, you said you were hungry, and here's your McDonald's, so you should be happy. Um, and to me, that's the part that's always kind of frustrating because there's always been this narrative of like how lazy or how complaining, people, black people are specifically. And it frustrates me because I'm like, I guarantee you I work as hard as, like my white counterparts or Asian counterparts or whatever. I feel like I just specifically just targeted two group of people, but didn't mean to do that. I just mean more than anything else, like I work as hard as my non-black counterparts. How about that? And there's just a stigma that I'm lazy, right? And that I'm complaining and, nothing's happening. And I'm like, there's systematic things that have been done that, you know what? I guess in all fairness, a lot of people just don't know about, right? Like, when you get into like redlining or you get into the fact that people were just blocked from buying, like intentionally blocked from buying houses in certain areas. To me, stuff like that is systematic and intentional. That is not necessarily directly, oh, well, you're not slaves, but you've blocked me from the things I use to kind of build wealth. It's hard to have the conversation that there was any kind of real freedom, right? Or there's really any equality. Or even one of the things that I talk about a lot of times is like representation. It's like a lot of times we end up in a space where you're the only person, right? You're the only black person. You're the only black male, black, female or woman, sorry. And a lot of times it's like you're put in a place where you have to actually navigate that. And that is a tough one to navigate. It's and the truth of the matter is people don't put enough credit on the fact that is different, because a lot of people have, and I use a word that has a lot of a lot of meaning and feeling, but privilege to not think about it. So it's hard, man. It's something that even makes one of the hardest things to talk about it is that people start feeling guilty about when you start talking about race related stuff, because it's been such a hot topic for such a long time that we can't have these like in-depth conversations without people feeling a way. It's like, just because I'm talking about it doesn't mean that I'm saying your ancestors directly enslaved my people. Like, it's not that. Well, but it's like,
did you know that there was a law that was passed? I want to say Florida. Don't quote me on this. But it was a law passed that they didn't want the teachers to talk about like slavery because it was going to depress the white people at the school. And I'm like, what? I'm like, but you talk about freaking Christopher Columbus and all that, and I'm pretty sure there's some Native Americans in the school, and what, you don't think they're like, damn, like, but you want to pass you're passing a law for this, but there's actual laws that y'all need to pass that would help further Juneteenth than the actual holiday itself. You see what I'm saying? Like we got black men going into jail, most out of everybody. Well, but yeah, you give me a holiday. Huh?
Yeah. I was gonna go ahead.
Go ahead. Because
I was gonna say the thing about it is the argument about that is that it's okay in certain people's minds to have that be a thing, because they think that people are savages, like we're just back to being 3/5 of a person, and we're just violent and uncontrolled. It's like, let me do this to you. Let me put you in a space where you have no access to build anything consistently, and even when you do start doing things well, somehow it gets destroyed. And tell me you wouldn't be upset.
Right.
Tell me you wouldn't be upset. But we've gone deep into this, and I think I would definitely love to hear what other people have to say on this. So we're gonna, ask a few friends and
friends, family, and associates.
There we go. We'll come back in a second.
Well, if you don't know what Juneteenth is, I suggest you go watch the episode of Blackish, where they educate the entire American populace on what Juneteenth is. So most people, including myself, didn't really know that much about Juneteenth before that episode. But yes, it's the day that the United States Army arrived in Galveston, Texas, to let the last of the enslaved Africans know that they were freed 2 years ago. Galveston, Texas was the last stop on their trip, so I would assume and logically thinking that there were plenty more stops along the way before they got there. But yeah, and they found out 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation that they were freed. And of course, the slave owners didn't want them to know that, so they made them keep working and get that last harvest in June. But what does it mean to me? It means more acknowledgement of the history of people who look like me, who were born with the same melanated complexion or even darker hues or lighter hues, same Afrocentric features, excuse me. It just lets me know more about America's treatment and history towards our people, which of course is not the best. You try to just laugh it off because it really isn't fun when you think about it, because the more you look into it, the worse it gets. And so yeah, that's what it means to me. It means that America does not love us. They never did. Hopefully they will.
Okay, first, she's Austrian, so she has no clue what that is. Second, I might be a little ignorant growing up because I also don't really know what it is, but I found out recently that it has to do with the freeing of slaves.
Juneteenth is the commemoration of the ending of slavery. Yes, the Emancipation Proclamation was announced 2 years or a couple years prior, but this was when the last news hit the U.S. So the messenger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced that the war was over and slavery was ended. So everyone was on the same page, and enslaved Americans could now own property, could now be a part of the rest of the community, and we could all be seen as one, as whole. I think this day, commemorates that, and we celebrate now. It's a federal holiday now. I just think it's huge improvements that we ended something crazy, crazy horrible, and hopefully we learn from our mistakes. We never do anything like that again, and I think it's crazy that we never celebrated this before, and we're kind of just hearing about it now. I didn't learn about it in school, so to me, it's a time to learn and reflect and remember.
I can honestly say that I don't know what Juneteenth is, which I guess is something I should be ashamed of myself for as a Black person. But I don't know what it is, and it literally means nothing to me. This is going to be on a public forum, and this is embarrassing, but I said what I said. I don't know what it is, and it literally means nothing to me.
So I see it as an opportunity now, and I would love to get to have conversations with people who are mad about it, because I don't think that we can grow and move forward if we are denying the past. I'm really hopeful that this is not just a day on the calendar. As much as it is, I'm so grateful that Black people will get to have whole days off and something that they never before were able to acknowledge and receive that acceptance and acknowledgement from everybody else. So it's a first step to me.
Okay, so what is it literally? It is June 19th, 1865 or 66, something like that, when the last of the slaves in Galveston, Texas were freed. They had actually been freed by the Emancipation Proclamation 2-3 years earlier, but they were not informed. And what it means to me is that is the day that this country was actually free. I think that you judge the country by the worst conditions of its people. I think you judge the freedom of the country by the last in line. And once those slaves were freed, that is when this country really became free. That's in my view, that's our actual independence.
That was very interesting. I appreciate y'all for your responses.
Yes, my people. If you did a review and you actually gave us a response, you're officially family of Juxtaposed.
Family of Juxtaposed.
You're now my people. I refer to you all as my people.
I like that. That's smooth. That's smooth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with us, staying in on this question and this topic, I guess, one of the things I was thinking about was like, how do we celebrate it? You know what I mean? Because this 2021 is the first time I believe that it's been official. I'm pretty sure people have been celebrating it.
Yeah.
But not my people. So, I don't know. K-Styles, what you think? How would you celebrate Juneteenth?
It's a rough one because here's the thing. Let's think about all of our holidays in the past. Like, it's either you get time off work, or you have a barbecue and or some kind of food thing. Because like Thanksgiving is like a mixed bag of different things. But I don't know. I mean, that's being very surface level and top. But either way, I don't really know how to. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, for one, I'm not gonna work because I have developed a bad habit of working on my days off, and so I'm gonna make sure I don't work. But I think more than anything else, what we should do to celebrate this is have these type of conversations because we need to understand what people think about it. I mean, this is the first holiday I feel has been instituted or granted during like our time period that directly connects to something that it hits home. So finding out what people think about it, making sure we don't lose the significance of what it meant is kind of a thing too as well. My one question is, if you for some reason don't like all of this talk, like the people who didn't want slavery to be taught in schools, do you take off Juneteenth? Should you then go to work? That is the question. I know that sounds like a petty question, but you didn't like us to talk about it. So should you be going to work?
So I love where you're going with that because I'm like, they are most definitely going to take the time off.
Of course.
Like it's like one of those. It's like, have you ever seen someone eat ice cream and be mad at the same time?
No, I haven't personally seen it. No.
So I'm like, it would be hard for me to see someone take that day off and be like, you know what? I hate it though. Like I'm like, but you're off today, but like the whole day.
Stuart, I'm just gonna go to work. I'm working today.
You know what? I'll be the one to go to work. Yeah, I'll be right in there protesting, like right at work. Like, hold on, you're here because you don't want the holiday? Yeah,
it's super odd. But yeah, going back to the original question, I guess how do you see yourself celebrating?
Man, I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I'm black, and
I mean, wait, hold on, I didn't notice.
I'm like, I don't know, like all these colored lights going and stuff, it might mess up my tint a little bit, but I'm black. God. And man, black people throw down. I'm gonna let you know, like, I really don't need much of an excuse to barbecue or freaking cook. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you an example. Thanksgiving, cooking. Christmas, cooking.
Yeah.
Independence Day, barbecue, cooking. Juneteenth. You know what? Thank you for the holiday. Cooking again. Valentine's Day. Baking some candy. I don't know. Baking some cookies. Candy. I don't know. But I'm trying to think of the other holidays. Memorial Day, Labor Day. It's a nice day for me to get some food in, and people won't be weirded out that I come over to their house eating all their food.
Yeah.
Because they gonna be welcoming me. Hey, come and have fun to celebrate. But also, I do think that what you said, like having the conversations, I didn't originally think of that, but having the conversations with people is definitely a good way to celebrate it. Get how people are feeling, and just a check-in too, because even though we know it's about freedom and stuff, like people are still feeling not free, people are still feeling oppressed and everything like that. So definitely having those conversations, but most importantly, getting my grub on. Being a grub up and letting it be known, this is why I'm getting my grub on. I'm free to eat whatever I want to eat. Hallelujah. I'm free to eat whatever I want to eat, bro. Yeah. So Yeah, I'm free to go where. I'm free to go where. Well,
within healthy restraints.
Well, you do know. I mean, this is how people like make things like in their mind. They're like, this is how I sleep at night. On these holidays, I get to eat whatever. Like, I might not eat whatever the whole year. People literally plan for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like
true.
to eat.
This is very true.
Eat foolishly, right? And then get back to the grind, right? Get back to the health and stuff like that. I don't know if you're gonna go that hard on Juneteenth, and this is why we're having these conversations. I don't think I'm gonna.
I said that's the question.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go that hard on Juneteenth, but Thanksgiving definitely go hard, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I'm free to go to whoever's house that invites me or invite people to my house. You know what I'm saying? You know what? It's 4th of July. Like, you know, the next month or whatever, I might have a pool party for Juneteenth. You know, you could do that, but I haven't heard anybody really throwing down for Juneteenth yet.
Well,
but because it's kind of new, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the second time that we've had this holiday, like literally second time. So you know, it's still new. It's like there's just the question is what should one do? Now I'm gonna say if I had to make an executive suggestion, I feel like everybody on Juneteenth, if you're at somebody's house, should be required to play Uno. But if we're gonna split it up, it's gonna sound messed up. I'm not trying to be racist, but like every black person should get at least 6 draw 4 cards. And that's it. And then anytime somebody says something crazy, we're like, ha! Here you go. Hold that.
Hold that real quick.
Or the wild card for Juneteenth. That should listen. I need
for a
the
decade.
Uno people. You need to do a Juneteenth edition of Uno.
Oh.
And we don't normally listen to y'all rules because y'all be making up rules whenever you want to, and we don't respect it. But if you give, maybe we call it a black card. Call it a black card. That black card for that Uno game. If you have that card, you can do whatever you want.
So
but
you
have
know,
to be black.
Okay, there's 2 parts. The first part is they got the card where you can make whatever the rule is on it, right?
Yeah. No,
so that could be
we need a card bigger than that.
Okay. Now are we talking by size? Like the big Uno cards?
No. Not
okay. I was like you playing with little cards and then you got the big black card.
We need to have like a Doctor Strange level power. Like just can think through anything, can pull anybody's hands. It's like, hey, I can go and make the thing and say, you know what, MVP, you got to drop 7 cards and pick up every card that says draw 4. I don't know, something like that.
Well, that's not fair, is it?
Well, welcome.
Welcome to the world I live in. It's like,
yeah.
I guess that's the point.
That's
the
a
point.
little rough. I mean, we're making light of this, but like,
yeah.
I mean, I think
But
that's I mean, celebrate it.
Even though we're making light of it, I would never like be against playing Uno, right? So, if we could incorporate that, and then like maybe have some fun facts in there about Juneteenth and stuff like that. But I also wanted to mention, and this is a shout out to Uno. I bang with y'all, but we're not following your rules.
Nope.
Because y'all obviously don't know the rules, so we'll help you out, and we'll play the rules.
The first rule of Uno is house rules. Whatever house you in, they create the rules. We don't care what you said on the box. We bought the game. We paid to create our own rules. So unless you're dropping rules that make sense, we will not be adhering to them. It's kind of like the speeding limit, like it's there to let you know. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Literally, I don't want no problems. I want no cops watching it, seeing me. I was like, oh, you're gonna grab that one.
Like, do you know why we pulled you over, sir?
Yeah, because we saw your episode in Juxtaposed. We know exactly what you do when you're not driving, when you don't see us on the road. But anyway, so going back to what we do every time is we have to get the opinion of my people. And when I say my people, it was not a racial thing. I literally mean the people who did reviews. I just want to clarify,
the Juxtaposed people.
Yeah, we're touching on a lot of things here, and I just want to make sure that people understand, no matter your race, you're my people if you accept my Uno game. I did.
Yes, that's required. It was like,
Nah, I'm joking. But yeah, seriously, let's roll.
How does one celebrate Juneteenth? So I think that can mean different things for different people. For some people who know less about the holiday, who maybe didn't grow up learning about it, like I know I did not grow up learning about it in my history class, which has always surprised me. It may just mean sitting down and learning and educating yourself and saying, hey, this is what it means. This is the importance of it. This is the importance of it to my loved ones. And this is why it really matters and why it's a holiday. To others, it may mean celebrating it in the regard of having a parade, having like a fun party, a real celebration. Like in my neighborhood, there was a lit celebration. I wasn't there, I was out of town, but it looked like a lot of fun. So I think it just means something different to everyone from a celebration standpoint. But yeah, for me, honestly, it's still really just like educating myself on the importance of it.
How does one celebrate Juneteenth? I would say take a well-deserved day off. It's federally mandated now. Although technically I worked on Juneteenth. That's crazy. But anyway, yeah, take the day off. Do some research about African Americans and African American history if you're not familiar. Acknowledge the history, and let's all try and think or act in a way to make sure that history is never repeated, but also better our futures.
I don't think there's any like one real answer to that. I think there's so many different ways that you can celebrate something like that. I mean, for one thing, I can understand if someone says they don't want to celebrate because it kind of is horrible, you know, that these people were freed and their slave masters just didn't tell them, kept on going like nothing happened, knowing that they would have no way of knowing anything else. So I get that. But I also think that if you look at it, like you try to skip past the horrible part and look at it like this is the day these people were told that they were freed. What would they want to do? You know, what would they like to do if they even knew? So I think, you know, the same things that apply to the 4th of July applies here, like cookouts and hanging out with family and stuff like that. I think that would all be appropriate.
So from my understanding, if the way I believe Juneteenth is kind of like described as, it seems like a similar kind of celebration, I would say, to July 4th. I think I would say.
So there are many ways to celebrate Juneteenth, and I can't speak for anyone but myself, but you know, last year I went out and I supported the Black community. I went to this Black-owned winery out in Paris, Virginia, wine country, Virginia, called Delphine's, and it was delicious. And really giving back, I felt that I, you know, by buying something that they made that wasn't store-bought, made by the man or made by, you know, rich white people, that I was helping and I was supporting in that way. This year, I researched more about Juneteenth. I read articles. I refreshed my memory on what it was since I had really only heard about it last year. So different ways for different times in my life of how I'm going to celebrate and reflect. But for me, it is a big learning journey, and I really want to just learn more and grow more. I actually just finished a book called The American Marriage, and it's really hard what the Black community goes through and continues to go through to this day. So for me, it's a reflection on reminding myself of my blessings and my privilege, and really focusing on what I can do, how I can be better. And, you know, talking about it really helps. So thank you for doing this podcast about it.
I don't celebrate Juneteenth, but if I was to make an assumption, you know, that cookout that everybody's talking about, you're not invited to the cookout, she's invited to the cookout, you know, that crap. I would assume the cookout that you're invited to is Juneteenth. So I'm assuming that's how it's celebrated, by having a cookout.
I guess that fits with the COVID theme, right? How does one, like just a singular one, do that? No. I don't know. I know that in Rochester, I was just ever so graciously invited to the cookout. So I know that you gather and you eat good food and you celebrate. You get to be together. You get to celebrate your community, yourselves, your history, your past, your survival, right? And then all of the good things in life, whatever that means to you and those closest to you. You don't show up empty-handed and you don't leave empty-hearted. It's Juneteenth.
All right, and we are back. K Styles, how did you feel about them responses?
I mean, listen, as always when we do this, it always like a mixed bag of just different opinions. And I love it. I mean, I feel like this is getting the, little mini guest on our podcast every time we do one of these, because people can, pop in, give their opinion and pop out, like we didn't have to schedule them for like, a 2-hour shoot. But yeah, no, I love it. I appreciate it. And once again, I appreciate everybody doing it because you are my people.
My people. So, just to continue with the tough conversation that we have on Juxtaposed. Follow we now, okay? Shameless plug. Plug. But I wanted to talk about, like, further, I guess, get into if we think Juneteenth should be a holiday, right? Like a federal holiday too, because that's high level, right? And we had already talked about a little bit about like if someone felt like it shouldn't be a holiday, would they take off of work? And I'm going to say, I don't know everyone's like thoughts, but I'm gonna say yes, you're gonna take the day, bro. You're gonna take the day even if you don't like it. So to answer the question and then elaborate a little bit, I do think it should be a federal holiday, right? But let K Styles answer first before we go into the but.
Oh, go that deep. Here's the thing. I would say, and I think this might align with what you're about to say, I would say I'll take the holiday, but in no way is this like a resolution of like, oh, well, we're good. And all the issues we've had around like, slavery are just, we're good to go. Okay, cool. You got a holiday. You're straight. I'll see y'all next year. Like, I don't, like, that's my thing. And, someone might look at that and say, oh, look, you're ungrateful. And I'm like, yeah, let's stop it and break it down a little bit, because there's still a lot of things that are just not, fair and equal. So.
And it's like, sorry, not sorry, but I'm a man of standards. And I'm like, yes, give me the holiday. But I'm going to need some more things with that, right? I know I'm taking it left field, but it's like, yeah, I want her to be, of attractiveness. You know what I'm saying? I want to be attracted to her. But I need her to have skills, too. I need her to be able to. Yes, I did. But it makes sense, right? Like, I don't want a woman who's just super attractive. I need her to be able to have more. Bring more to the table, more to the plate. So,
can you bring to the table when you're at the table, bro?
Well, that's just.
I'm sorry.
That's
I had to
what was that? BD energy? BD energy right there. But to bring it back to the holiday, I'm like, yes, for sure. I want that day off. I want to celebrate everything that's happening with that day. But also, you know what I'm saying? It would be nice if we tackle some of these other issues. And like, I know I was talking about it earlier, but the whole, for black men, we're either put in jail or, get killed. And it's tough because it's so many different ways that we can be targeted, right? If it's not a mass shooting, I mean, I'm hearing about, and this is like just all groups of people too, but you're hearing about a mass shooting like every month or so now at this point. We got this whole Black Lives Matter, but it's like that title is cool, but I don't know if anything is coming from the actual what it means. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to be killed for being black and getting all passionate. But I'm like, it's a real issue. And you can't just throw a holiday at me and be like, even if that's not even your intention, You know what I mean? Like, even if it's not your intention to do that, I just want you to know that I'm going to need more than that for me and my family and my family's generations and generations to come, right? Like, another issue is the hardship of Black people being able to be successful in the world. You know what I mean? Like every Black person should, the only way they can be successful, it shouldn't be like they have to be an athlete or make music or be some type of entertainer, right? But it starts at it's like the generation thing, right? And if people didn't know, we were already put into a position way back when, where now, you know what I'm saying, it's still difficult to even get to that amount of wealth that, you know, our counterparts have, you know? And I'm not saying that anything, nothing should be like given for free, but I know that people are out there working hard, but yet there are things that's put in place to keep us down, you know? So,
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah. To that point, the thing for me that is harder. It's like we're starting these conversations now, so there's an element of patience that's required for some of this too, because we're trying to change what would be 400 and something years of you know, just like, for all intents and purposes, bad behaviors. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about if you, like, we picked up so many people picked up a lot of bad habits in the 2 years that we were locked in the house during, you know, COVID pandemic. And imagine how hard it is to get out of that now that we're, you know, there's a semblance of normalcy, you know, coming back where people are going out at least way more frequently than they were. So imagine that times 400, right? So it sounds like I don't want to make it sound like I'm making excuses for that, but I do think we need to understand that we have to constantly challenge some of these ideas and some of these methodologies and make sure that we're not letting up. Because I think what happens with a lot of people is like, oh, we need to have this. And then it turns out like, sometimes, for lack of a better word, it feels like an attempt at pacification. So like when they got rid of like some of the statues that were like Confederate leaders and stuff like that, people felt like, oh, well, yeah, we did this, so yeah, we're good to go now. Like, you know, racism is not a thing, right? It's like, or one of the biggest one you heard was like when Obama became president. Oh, well, Obama is not, he was a Black man, you know, so there's nowhere that there'll be any racism still. And I'm like, those two things are not mutually exclusive. And that's to the point of like, yes, the holiday is a good start. It doesn't negate the fact that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But it also, the hard part about this too, is that we as Black people have to do our part to ensure that we're holding our elected officials and the people who make these laws accountable. Because one of the things that I know people are like, oh, well, you're saying that the victim needs to be the one to change it. I'm like, yeah, but the thing about it is no one else is getting affected by this. So we have to be the ones to say, okay, well, you said during election time, you needed our vote to do this. So I need to see you do something. I need to see you do something. I need to see you do something. I don't know how, and I know that this are all kind of large, you know, hard to really imagine things to resolve some of these issues, but it's the only way. It has to be active decisions being made. And, you know, we'll probably get into another podcast about this at some point, but there needs to be consistent pressure applied to these people in order for us to see any change. If we think that we're just going to like fight hard for one day and then it's just going to be like, okay, cool. Well, people who've been benefiting from it for, I mean, 400 years, but it's been more than that, are going to just automatically change the way that they think about things. And some of the things that have been ingrained in them from youth and for generations, just because, you know, other people care about it, it's not going to work that way. So it's a long fight. It's going to be a long fight. And we're just going to have to fight the good fight. And, you know, hopefully our kids and, you know, we'll be able to be in a better place. And I mean, honestly, if we get our kids to be in a better place, it's a win, right? It's a start in the right direction. I mean, the fact that we're having some of these conversations openly, because that's one thing. It's like we were having these conversations in our small pockets, and with people who are, essentially considered allies, but you weren't having it on a larger scale. And so, like, everything that happened in 2020 where people sat down and they weren't able, like, COVID allowed for that. Like, it definitely allowed for people to stop and actually pay attention and realize that we're not just complaining because we're complainers. Like, there's actually legitimate things that are wrong that needs to be addressed. I think people are starting to see that, but we got a long way to go.
Long way to go. So let's get some responses on
the federal holiday. Yeah.
On a federal holiday. Like, do you think it should be one? And if you do or don't, elaborate.
Let us know.
Let us know.
I absolutely think it should be a federal holiday. Listen, America wastes no time making other things federal holidays, and taking a moment to respect other events. I think that this was absolutely necessary. I think it's the beginning of shining a light on a horrible history, and hopefully it's the first of many steps taken to actually correct that. I like, for me, it's not even a question. I hear it the same as, should the 4th of July be a federal holiday? And I don't see why it should be regarded any differently. It is our country's Independence Day. Because until then, only some people were free. That's not independence of the country to me.
Well, I'm not sure if I really understand this question, because it doesn't matter what I think it is a federal holiday. Do I think it should be a holiday? Is a question that I think some people may have asked. Should it be a day that's acknowledged, and who acknowledges it? Do the former enslaved people acknowledge it and say, hey, it's a celebration of Jubilee, the day that our people were freed? Or is it a day of regret for certain people for them losing their property and losing their profits? Or is it a day of retribution?
Googled it because I was like, I thought it was a federal holiday. Yes, it is. It should be. I answered this a little bit in my first round on what is Juneteenth, but 100% I believe that it's the most important first step in anyone who lives in the United States acknowledging how we got to where we are now. In totality, right? Like, not leaving aside the ugly parts, and we still have so much work to do in terms of that acknowledgement and dare I say reparations. I think one day off is weak, but I am so grateful that there is time set aside. Time is one of the most valuable things. I think everybody agrees that time is money. It's a good substitution for it. So whether it's time to rest or it's time that is being allocated to acknowledge part of our history, and I think to speak to who we want to be going forward, absolutely should be a federal holiday, more than quite a few others that I can name.
Well, I do believe Juneteenth should be a federal holiday. If you look at all the other federal holidays, they kind of have like a pattern, and the pattern, I would say, is something that was a huge significance to the U.S. like as a whole. And I would say clearly the freeing of the slaves was a big significance.
I think it should be, and this kind of goes back to my point about not learning about what Juneteenth is growing up, like in history classes. Like, our history is really whitewashed, and if Juneteenth were to become a federal holiday, it would really help change that narrative And that's what we as Americans need to continue to do, because right now, the way the history is being told isn't completely accurate. And making that a federal holiday really impacts all those younger generations, and it helps them become more knowledgeable, more educated about our American history and the importance behind everything.
Yeah, it should be a federal holiday. Not because, for me personally, it has such an elaborate significance, but mainly because of the fact that I'll take any opportunity to either have a day off or to get paid extra at work. So any reason to get double pay or any reason to have a day off, I support it. So yeah, let's make it a federal holiday.
I do. I definitely think Juneteenth should be a federal holiday. I think it's important that we remember and we reflect. And I think it's interesting that kids nowadays are going to be like, what is this holiday? Why do I have this day off? And parents are going to have to talk to their kids about it. And I don't see how you could lie to your kids, like, no matter what age, even if you're not going to teach it in school, whatever. Like, I think you're still going to have to explain history and explain this specific day, whether you see ads on streaming services about about Juneteenth and about what it means. And people are going to hear Juneteenth and they're going to ask questions and they're going to want to find answers. And I think that alone is a huge awareness day. And again, I'm sure there are many parades, public speakers, different community activities that people are really, really invested in and want to see flourish and love going to, and is meaningful and impactful to them. So I think, yes, absolutely, make this a holiday, keep it a holiday. Let's talk about it forever and ever and ever, and let's make it something people look forward to. People love a day off work, or in stores closing and stuff. So let's make that day special and let's do something with it. Let's not just talk about it, let's be about it.
All right. So, as always, my people, I thank you.
My beautiful people out there.
Yeah, they call it friends of the podcast, as MVP said in episode 1, I think.
Did I? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's all true though. It's all true though.
We gotta do a callback. As a matter of fact, you should go look at the first one and tell me if I'm right.
Ooh,
bonus question.
Challenge.
Drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, in conclusion, I personally think it should be a holiday. Because I'm gonna take whatever day I can. But at the same time, I feel like it's a step in the right direction, but it's a step.
Real quick, because a thought in my mind came. Do you think Biden did this with an ulterior motive?
Do
you appreciate something less if you think that someone's doing it for the wrong reasons, even though it's the right thing? If that makes any sense.
That is a good question. That is a very good question. And personally, I don't necessarily think that he's doing it for the wrong reasons. I think that there was some pressure on him because, I mean, you were vice president to the first black, president of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Of the world. Wow. Excuse me. Of America. And
we know what you meant. You meant the world.
I think there was some expectation that, he would do some of this stuff, which is why I think he made the pick for his vice president as well. It's like some of these things. I mean, he's done things that are actually helpful. But what about those gas prices, Joe? What about them gas prices? Sorry.
He was like, yo, let me get this holiday out the way, but them gas prices, I don't know what to tell y'all.
I mean, it's a running joke, but here's the thing: every president has to get their fair share of trash thrown at them when something doesn't go right. In George Bush Jr.'s case, he actually had physical shoes thrown at him. So, I'm gonna give Joe some trash about the goddamn gas prices. Gosh dang.
But I looked at him the other day. It was like $6.
Bro,
has it ever been that high?
All I'm saying is,
I don't know, bro. That's crazy.
Those electric cars are looking very sexy. I might have to pick me up a Silver Shark. I I don't know if you heard the
So-
joke, but the Tesla.
No,
look like
I
sharks.
don't. Okay, I was like, I don't know. First thing I thought was like Baby Shark
Oh,
when you
God.
said that.
Please don't start that again.
I know, but since like so we're kind of like moving off a little bit of Juneteenth.
Oh, yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
I'm
I'm saying?
sorry,
Still in
I'm
the
sorry.
same ballpark, but I'm like, no, we're about to like keep it
Yeah,
going
yeah, yeah.
because
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
yeah. But no, I'm wondering like with the because we're on gas prices right now, right? With the because I don't have a Tesla, never really interacted with a Tesla. What's the electric situation if you know, K Styles?
I mean,
like
go ahead.
when it comes to cost, does the electricity cost?
So we're kind of going through that experience myself because
Okay.
my family members have gotten Teslas, and honestly, looking at the electric bill, it went up like $35. It wasn't that much.
The
compared
electric bill in your house.
in the house because it added
Okay.
charges to the house. So that wasn't that bad. I mean, I guess it depends on every different situation because you could get like solar panels on your house, which would then cut the cost of your bill to nothing. So
Right.
you really probably make money off of that. But I mean, for what I've seen, especially with the ones that they got, the monthly bill is gonna be higher.
Okay.
But if you think about it, how much you're spending on gas, does it even out? Especially if the gas prices are talking $6-7 a gallon. And especially if you got a U premium, oh my man, you better buy a bike. You better get a bicycle.
Bicycle. We're not talking about a motorcycle.
No, because that takes
Bicycle.
gas too.
Yeah, here.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think feasibly, I could see this accelerating the demand for electric cars.
Hold on. Conspiracy time.
Okay, all right, let's get into it.
So, if I was behind the scenes and I want to further my agenda with the electric cars, a good way to do that would be to raise the gas. So people would be like, you know what? I wasn't really paying attention to this electric thing, but my friends who are in that situation, and they're definitely using. If you have a Tesla, right now you're loving it. You have to be.
Yeah.
And I don't even have one, but the gas is just crazy. I keep hearing about people stealing gas and then selling it on the side like it's a hot pocket or like a funnel cake. So I'm like,
God.
it's real out there, right? This would be the best way, and the only reason I'm thinking about it because you just said that, right? Like, this would be the best way behind the scenes. I would rather keep it high if I was. Okay, I'm doing too much.
Yeah, here's the thing. I can understand that, and honestly, there's a lot of there could be a lot of arguments made to make that a thing. I guess my concern with that is how we ended up in this place. Because if Russia didn't decide to try to annex Ukraine, like they did, it's ridiculous.
so
If they didn't
bold,
try
bro.
to do that,
They
and
so
then we
bold.
essentially had to block their their
Everything?
oil from here, we probably wouldn't be in this position. But so I don't know. And then the thing about it is, there's a lot of people who will lose money if more people went to electric.
Oh yeah,
And-
yeah. You're right.
So
But
I don't know.
If I'm the electric guy, I don't care about y'all.
No, that's true. That is very true. So if Elon Musk was somewhere in the background,
I didn't want to
pulling-
say his name. I didn't want.
the perfect super villain over there. I mean, if Elon was out there pulling the strings, I would believe it. But like, I don't know. I don't think that I don't, especially knowing the world where we are as far as like the chip shortage and the ability of like, or the struggles of like logistics across the world. I don't know if this is like a thing that happened as a result of somebody intentionally doing it. I definitely think is a result of supply chain issues,
Right.
and us kind of being in a place where we're feeling the effects, the late effects of the pandemic. Because
Like
we're
almost like a
not
perfect
fully,
storm.
We're not fully out of it because
We're
we're in an endemic or whatever it is. I can't remember the term.
But is that supposed to be like post-demic?
It's supposed to be a level under pandemic.
Oh, really? There's a level under?
Oh yeah, there's multiple levels.
Yeah,
multiple levels. I didn't know. Something. I had no idea. I had to look it up. But
speaking of didn't know something, I know we're going all over the place now. But this is why we're here. Juxtaposed. You never know where we're gonna go. Speaking of something I didn't know, and I want to talk about this real quick. Did you know that spaz is a derogatory term? Derogatory term. Spaz.
Did I know what was it?
Spaz. S-P-A-Z is a derogatory term.
I did not. When did that become a derogatory term?
So, it's based on like people who have disabilities where like they have like muscle spasms and like spasms in general. There's an actual condition for it. And if someone says like, I know if you heard this before where you like, yo, spaz out, or like, yo, I'm about to spaz on them. Like definitely in like hip hop and rap, we, rapping words together and like, crazy, spaz, like anything that over accentuates like a situation, like, yo, that's insane. I'll go crazy on the beat. I'll spaz on the beat. But an artist, I'm not gonna say the person's name, but an artist had that in their song and it went viral. And I don't even use that term because it's kind of older, right? Like I don't think people like, I don't know.
It's not common. Yeah.
It's not common that people say that. But to be respectful to people with disabilities in that department of spasms and all that other stuff, that artist removed that word from their song. But I wanted it to bring the Juxtaposed because I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing, like, and it just goes back to like all the things now that people have to, and I think this is going to be an ongoing thing in Juxtaposed of like the things that people have to pay attention to not offend anybody. Because even with like, hey, what's going on, guys? You know what I'm saying? Like when we do these intros to the podcast, I'm like, yo, what's up, guys? I don't know if I can say that anymore. I got to be like, y'all, because you got to be inclusive and you can't just be like, gender specific. And the type of person I am, I don't want to offend anybody, bro. I'm just trying to mind my business. But if that's the case, then I need to know how to move in the room. And so just in case y'all didn't know that out there, spaz is technically a derogatory term.
Well, the more you know, because I had no idea.
We have a little like graphic going.
Yeah, I know, right?
The more you know, bro. Because
that's interesting. I mean, the thing about it, this time, it's such a different time than when we grew up because like even music, movies. If you look back at like, perfect example, we're having a conversation. I think it was the two of us. I don't remember about Johnny Bravo.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. No?
That took a turn.
Okay, sorry.
That took a turn.
All right, sorry. My bad.
Johnny Bravo. I don't remember. Was it us that we had that
Johnny Bravo? You mean
Bravo?
Johnny
Bravo was literally...
Oh! He could not be played nowadays.
The worst.
No,
the worst.
You can't watch that.
Pew. Like we had so many things that were a part of our day-to-day as children because we were young when this was coming up to now where, like that stuff would not fly now at all. That would have been canceled. So
for sure. We can't have that, which it sucks because it's like those are the things that we grew up on that were so dope.
Yeah.
But I think it's more important to know how to move, bro. Yeah. Because there's a such thing as cancel culture now.
Yes, sir.
I don't know where it came from, but you will get canceled fairly quickly if you don't know how to move. And I would like to think Juxtaposed wants people to move correctly out here in the world. This is why we have Juneteenth conversations, because you, like, as a person, you might not even know how to move in that conversation. But after watching Juxtaposed, I'm like, how many times? Like, I want y'all to tell us how many times we say Juxtaposed in one sitting. It'll be fun. Let us know. Comment below. But like, if you don't know how to move, this podcast may help you at least have an understanding of how individuals converse about the subject. and their concerns and their thoughts. And then when you are in a conversation like that, because it's going to continue, bruh. It's not going to stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we don't.
The conversations.
We can't stop. We have
Right.
to continue.
So I'd rather know how to like even if it's uncomfortable, I'd rather know how to move, right? So I think we should go ahead and wrap this up.
Yes, sir.
So could you take us out?
Once again, my
Okay.
people, if you made it this far, you're my people. Appreciate every single one of you, my people. But yeah, thank you for watching Juxtaposed. We are going to be back on a regular scheduled cadence.
Question mark?
No. This is it.
Say a little bit with your chest, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
we're on
out
it,
here.
and we're on the wonderful new We and Now network. So definitely check out We and Now as that develops. Also, there'll be a section on that site that if you will have the active questions. So if you want to drop your responses to some of the questions, you'll be able to do it there. But as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Because that's how we know you were listening.
Be our people, man. Come be our people, yo. You know what I'm saying?
know?
We need more people. You need more
Help a
people. I
friend
need more
out.
people.
My
You
friend,
know?
my people,
My friend.
my friend. But yeah, deuces, man. It's been great. See y'all next time.